I just wanted to take a few minutes and show you how to do an ANOVA in Excel and also to do it longhand in Excel. There's an ANOVA worksheet in the data files folder, and if you go to that, it'll probably pull up the interstate example tab, so you'll want to switch over to the raw data. And the example that we're using is from the book, and begins on page 370. And you'll see the raw data here for the Northern, the WTA, the Ponco, and the Branson. And again, that is compatible with what is in your book on page 370. Now, going through, if you look at the Solution tab here, you'll actually see how I actually computed this in Excel doing it longhand. So one of the first things we had to do was come up with a grand mean. So we had to total everything up and then divide it by the number within the sample, and then we came up with a mean. And I just use the average function to do that, and then the average of the average, okay, would be the grand mean. Then we had the deviations from the grand mean, as the book allows you to go through, and finally we're going to square that. And when it's all said and done, then we you can kind of follow along the formulas there when you open up this Excel worksheet here. But then you'll see that we do eventually have the SST, the SSE, the MST, and the MSE, and once we have those values, then we can compute the F. Now, again, to do it in Excel, this is what it looks like if you actually do it in Excel. You'll notice that they are labeled something different. Your SST, the SSE are labeled something differently here, but the values are the same. So to actually compute an ANOVA in Excel, I'm going to go back to the raw data here. We do have to use the data analysis feature. So remember, if that isn't on, you'll have to go to File, Options, Add-ins, and turn it on. You can follow that process. But data analysis, and I'm going to go ahead and do an ANOVA. We're going to do a single factor ANOVA. My input range is going to be all of this data here. And I'm going to go ahead and choose an output range. I'll get into what alpha is a little bit later here, but our confidence interval is going to be essentially 95%. So we'll choose the output range, and I'll put the output right here. And I click OK, and there we have hopefully the same data that we saw before. The same values, actually, we have the critical value and some other things that we'll use in hypothesis testing. And we have notice it calls it here between groups and within groups instead of SST and SSE. That's just what Excel does. Same values, just different names here. Okay, so again, very, very easy to use the Excel data analysis feature if you have it. And as I mentioned a few times, if you do have the Mac, this is something you can do with the Mac. There is a third-party add-in that you can download.